Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. I am here at Trump International Dubai and it is insane. Thank you to all the team for hosting us and allowing us to use their Trackman technology driving range. It's incredible. Before we get into it, hit that subscribe button. It takes 2 seconds to do. The bigger the channel, the bigger the video, so get clicking. So today I'm going to go through all my golf club yardages. I'm going to go through how far I hit every club and just to get a gauge of where I am for 2024 after going through a lot of swing work and changing my clubs as well. So I'm super interested in seeing what difference there has been to last year. Let's go meet Tom from Trackman and let's get into it. So I am here today and I've got with me Trackman Tom.
Hi.
So Tom's going to be talking me through all of my new yardages for 2024, go through pretty much every club in the bag, working out how far they go and what you can look for at home if you want to do this for yourself. Should we get started?
Sounds good.
Fabulous, let's go. What is Trackman been like in the UAE? Has it been popular? Is it something that's growing? Do you see it a lot?
Definitely growing. I think the thing out here is we kind of take the trends from Europe and the UK and then we adopt them a little bit later. So
Yeah.
we're certainly moving over this way. I mean, Trump's a great example. We've got Abu Dhabi Golf Club down in Abu Dhabi,
Yeah.
Riyadh Golf Club, and also Education City in Qatar as well. So it's certainly growing in the Middle East,
Yeah.
and hopefully we're going to keep going with it.
Yeah. So you're a busy man.
Yes.
Very
yes.
busy. And even more so when you've got places like this where, as you were saying, people can go down even back home in the UK. You can head down to a Trackman driving range and you can do this for yourself.
Yeah, absolutely. That's the beauty. There's so many ranges now popping up, certainly in Europe and the UK, where
Yeah.
rather than people feeling they need a Trackman 4 or access to one,
Yeah.
they can come down to a Trackman driving range,
Yeah.
get a bucket of balls, and they can still get access to the same data that we would when we're on tour looking after best players in the world.
Wow. And even that was just a learning little phase for me then, because I was saying, do we need to get the whole Trackman out? But to know you can do it all just through this device is amazing. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, I'm excited.
The-
excited.
The guys here at Trump are great. They've got the iPads that they can give out to
Yeah.
players as well, or
Yeah.
you've got screens at some other more permanent ranges back in the UK. But as long
Yeah.
as you've got your phone and a Trackman range,
Yeah.
you're all good to go.
Brilliant, brilliant. So starting with my highest lofted club.
Yep.
Yeah.
Start at the bottom of the bag and then we'll work up.
So just talk me through the process. How many balls do we hit per club? Is it like an average or how does it kind of work?
So we'll go for about 3.
Okay.
3 sort of average strikes. If
Yeah.
there's anything in there that's particularly heavy or particularly thin, we take those out of the average because there's no real point.
Yeah.
So three strikes that you're relatively happy with, and then we'll
Okay.
just move on to the next one.
Brill. And is that with every club in the bag?
Every club in the bag. Yeah.
Every club in the bag. Okay, fabulous. So even the longer irons that I kind of keep away, we're going to be putting them to test today. The beauty of this as well, it's on a grass driving range. Do you think grass versus a driving range with a mat, do you think that has an effect on it, or does it?
Not
perform
on
the
your
same?
distances, not on
Okay.
your distances as such. Maybe a yard or two, a little bit further. Maybe on a mat, you get a little bit more spring.
Yeah.
But people tend to get away with it a lot more on a mat. So
Yeah.
this is certainly a lot more realistic
Okay.
for what people are going to see out on the course.
Yeah, definitely. And even balls wise, do the balls have an effect on performance as well? Or?
Yeah, so they do, but
Yeah.
the beauty with our system is we can then convert that to what a premium
Wow.
golf ball would do. So
Okay.
based on the driving range balls we've got here, we've got a convert button in the bottom right to be able to see what it's actually done,
Yeah.
but then what a normal ball would done. Same with the wind as well. So if this
Okay.
was really howling into our face,
Yeah.
we can still take the ball data and tell you what it should have done.
That's insane, incredible. And just one last thing, obviously I'm here, it's 35 degrees heat. As soon as I go home in a few days, it's going to drop down, probably to 10 degrees.
Yeah.
Do you think yardage wise I'll see a difference on with it not being as warm, or will it be pretty similar?
Relatively similar, yeah. So when you start talking about altitude and temperature, things like that, it's only when you get the extremes that you're going to start seeing a noticeable difference.
Okay.
You might be talking between 5 yards, but
Yeah.
that'd be about it.
Yeah, I think that's something as well a lot of people question when they go abroad. Is that something they need to keep in mind? But no, and it's not too much of a difference. It's not something that you need to worry about really. Okay, fabulous. So are we going full swing with?
Yeah, let's
every
go.
club?
Let's go full swing.
Yeah.
So if you wanted to, you could go through sort of your clock method and say, right, this is my half
Yeah.
60, my 3/4 60. But
Okay.
let's just do full
Let's do
full swings.
Yeah. Silly question. Am I going for a target, or am I just kind of?
So the target that's chosen at the moment is the
Yeah.
flag just to the right-hand side of the academy building down in the far end. We can
Okay.
change that if you want to.
Yeah, no, that's absolutely
but
brilliant.
It's entirely up to you.
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. And just for me, which way is the wind blowing? Okay.
Straight into it.
Straight into. funny, wedges wise, I don't, it's something my coach tells me off all the time because I never hit them at full speed. In my head, maybe because it's
which isn't a bad thing.
The loft.
That's a good thing. So,
it's a good thing.
well, it's an interesting one because even looking at something like this, I personally couldn't tell you how far I could hit my 58-degree wedge because I never do it. I know all my different numbers for that, but if I'm ever hitting it full power, I shouldn't be. I should be going to one less, and that's where knowing your numbers, knowing how far you've got to your target, and then knowing how many different options you've got to get there. That's a great weapon to have.
Yeah, brilliant.
Good.
So that's 2. One more. It's just so nice to not have to hit off a mat.
Yeah.
Hitting off this grass is unbelievable.
And not having wind and rain into your face either.
Layers and layers and layers as well. You've got no excuse here. Okay, so that was 3.
Yep, nice.
As silly as this sounds, does having dirty grooves affect the affect this? Does it really?
Yeah, definitely, it certainly can do. So whenever you see the guys on tour when they're warming up for their rounds, you'll see they'll hit a shot and then they'll clean exactly. To then make sure the next one they're getting exactly the right data.
Wow.
So that there's nothing affecting them. Yeah. It's one of those. It can always be as precise or not as you want, really.
Yeah. Of course.
You can then get different readings and things, but
of course. Even balls, sometimes you see them wiping the ball if it's wet.
Absolutely. As soon as you get moisture on the face, there's been loads recently about grooves and the effect they play and how much spin they produce. Actually, all a groove does is between the club and the ball, just displaces anything that might get in the way. So grass or water, that then is going to affect the spin and the overall result of the ball.
That's super, super interesting. As you say, you could make this process as long or as short as you want, really, can't you?
Yeah, definitely.
Well, how often would you say you need to go through this process?
I think it's going to vary from player to player. So, good example if someone gets new clubs, or if they're working on something with a coach, or maybe doing some fitness-related things, they might want to check back in. Maybe once a month. Maybe depending on how much someone plays, or if they notice something on the golf course and maybe they think, oh, actually, that's gone a bit further than I thought it should do. Maybe that's the time to come back and check. Because if it's working out there, leave it alone.
Of course, of course. Same target?
Yep, still the same target.
Two more?
Yep, 2 more.
What would you say, Tom? Obviously, it's a lot of balls you're hitting through this process. Is obviously fatigue sets in, especially when you're somewhere like this. Is there anything you do about that, or do you just have to?
I think I would just say to someone, just take your time with it. Take it easy. If you want a little breather between shots, go for it. If you want to grab a coffee, come back. Try and do it on the same day if you can, because every day is slightly different. But by all means, if someone wants to just go and chill out for a minute and then come back and do the rest of the bag, by all means.
And I can imagine that a lot of people do that because you don't realise when you're hitting ball after ball after ball, it's not like being on the course because you have that walk in between and you have that little bit of breather.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's where you look at fittings, you look at lessons, things like that. By the time you get to the end of a session, it could have been a lot of golf balls. You're doing a full bag fitting or you're really working on something with a coach. So that's where the beauty of a coach or a fitter is they can rein you in a bit and just make sure you're okay and make sure you're only hitting what you need to. But when someone's on their own, they tend to get a bit happy. End up hitting too many.
10 people.
Good strike.
Okay, another 2.
Yep.
9-9.
Yep, 9-9.
Same target. Do you think that wind's picked up or not?
It feels like it. Certainly feels like it.
Have I got an excuse?
Good strike.
So for me, obviously this year I've gone new clubs, different shafts, what I'm used to, and I've done quite a lot of swing work as well. So the main aim for me was to get the ball going further. So it's a good gauge now to know where I'm at in comparison to where I was last year, but then how far can I actually go in maybe, as you say, 2 months time, give it a check.
Yeah, exactly. If you're working on stuff in your swing or you're doing some fitness stuff and things like that to try and get it going a bit further anyway, then it's a nice benchmark to have. 100%. So then check back in and say, okay, what gains have I made? Or when you change clubs, what gains have the clubs made for you? Yeah. You can really see it.
Of course, brilliant. Another 2?
Yep, another 2.
Yeah, 8-iron?
8-iron, yep.
Yeah.
Strike. Lovely. Very good. So 7-iron next.
7-iron?
Nice. At what point in the bag does it start getting a bit uncomfortable?
Now I stop at 6.
Okay. Okay.
Which is something only because I could never compress the ball. Where now that's what I've been working on. So hopefully eventually I can. But for me it was always just use like your hybrids.
Yep.
Which I'd love to be able to grab a 1-iron out, but if that's possible then.
Nice.
Okay, another 2?
Yep.
So I got rid of hybrids this year when I went through a club fit.
Okay.
The woods will actually benefit more than a hybrid, which I will always went with a hybrid, so it was really strange. So we popped a 7 wood in there instead of a hybrid, which it's been strange because whenever I look down at that I just see 3 wood.
Okay.
So go from a rescue to that, it's mentally been a little bit challenging.
Yep. Yeah, fairway woods, high lofted fairway woods now become so popular.
Yeah.
It's so easy.
Yeah, definitely.
Game's hard enough. Why make it harder?
Definitely. So in regards to the fairway wood, am I hitting this off the ground? Would you go through like hitting off the ground versus tee?
Yeah, I would go ground versus tee as well, because they are going to come out slightly differently. So maybe do a few off the ground. Yeah. Would you use your 7 wood much off a tee? Would you say?
Very occasionally, very rare actually. So probably more the 5, the 3 wood off a tee.
Yeah. So with those, we can do a couple with each and see if there's a difference.
Yeah, brilliant. Okay, 2 more.
Yep.
A lot of people you say, and so many people don't know, you say they come for lessons, they say they want to get better. Well, how far do you hit the ball?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So many people don't actually know.
I think that's the thing. There's a lot of people either don't know or think they know, but then maybe jump that up a little bit. It's one of those things for me when I'm out on the golf course. I'm not really thinking anything swing-wise or technique-wise, because that's what I've done with my coach or I've been working on the range. Yeah. For me, it's a case of how far have I got to my target? Yeah. And what do I need to hit to be able to hit that distance? Yeah. And if you're guessing about any of that, then you're struggling. And that's where I think your confidence goes, because if you're not confident with how that shot's going to go, there's no point. And it's preparation as well, isn't it? If you're not prepared to go out there and say, yeah, I can choke down on it or I can hit it to the max. And that's the thing, you've got so many different factors, whether you've got wind, slope, turf conditions, things like that. But if you've got some baseline data, the more you play and the more you get experience, the easier it becomes to say, oh, I've seen this before. I know that this slope is going to do this to the ball, or the wind, whatever that may be. But without that baseline, you're just guessing. Yeah, of course, definitely. Okay, so 5 wood. Shall I go off the ground first, then a tee? Yeah, we'll go 1 off the ground, then 1 to tee. Yep. Nice, great strike. Okay, 2 more? Yep. So obviously saying about how often should we be checking these, maybe for like a beginner golfer who have gone through a few lessons, they're on the course, when should they start to kind of look into this, do you think? Or is there no kind of I think the earlier the better. Yeah. I think it's one of those, if you look at the guys and girls that are hitting it hundreds and hundreds of yards, that's great. And I think a lot of people think, I don't hit it very far, so I don't need to know. But if I know that my 7-iron goes 40 yards and my 8-iron goes 35 yards, then great. When I've got that position, I know which sort of clubs I'm hitting. So there isn't really a lower limit to it. Everyone, if you can make contact with a golf ball, you need to know how far that's going to go. Yeah, of course. Interestingly, when you look at bag makeups and when you go for things like fittings as you have, you might actually identify, well, maybe I don't need all of those clubs. Because at the top end of the bag, people tend to carry too many clubs. You see so many different head covers and you think, actually, they do a very similar job. Why don't you just take the one? And same with the wedges. If you've got things that are going a bit too close or a bit too similar, you might be more comfortable carrying a few less or a few more if you notice a gap that's there in your bag. Yeah, of course. And that's where the club fit is so interesting again, because that's specific to your game. Rather than, again, guessing and carrying too many clubs and getting it right for you.
Okay, fab. So 3 wood now?
Okay, 3 wood. Lovely. Nice.
These woods have been amazing, an eye-opener taking the rescue out, because I was guilty, even from 140 yards, just grabbing it and just hitting a little half shot. Yep. Yeah, they're like, take it out, take it out. So 3 wood off a tee?
3 wood off a tee, yep. Strike. Yep, good strike.
Okay, is that okay?
Yep.
So before I left, I was obviously trying to hit the ball further. I dropped this down, so it was on 12 degrees.
Okay.
Dropped it down, it's gone. I must have put that back up. But I dropped that right down to 11, just to try and get that little bit of extra distance.
Okay.
Do you see people doing that more often, or do they just kind of, once they've got it, they don't change it and don't do anything with it?
Hopefully, most people, when they get it, they've been fitted for it.
Okay.
So it should leave it alone, and if they want to change it, ask their fitter or their coach to see whether that's going to help.
Yeah.
If you're buying stuff off the shelf, slightly different, you might want to then tweak it around a bit.
Yeah.
A lot of it just comes down to the individual and how they deliver the club to get the right trajectory to then get the maximum distance. For some people, depending on how you deliver the club, the lower ball flight's going to be better, but for most people, the higher you can get that going, you're going to get a little bit more carry.
Okay, fantastic. So again, it's just trial and error, just playing around with it and seeing what works best for you, isn't it?
Yes, and that's the beauty with the fitting. I mean, essentially it is trial and error to an extent, and that's where your fitter, with the knowledge and the equipment they have available, can then narrow it down a lot smaller for you, rather than having every shaft available in the latest head. They can at least say, okay, these are ones that we're going to look at, let's now pick those ones for you.
Yeah, love it. And the club fitting processes, again, it's in for that individual, isn't it? It's no.
Absolutely.
And so many people think, oh well, that person's using that, so I assume I should use that.
Yep.
And again, the same with Yardages. Everyone plays the playing partner's game rather than their own. So just to grab your own club, know how far it goes, that's an improvement straight away, isn't it?
Like you said, it's so much down to the individual, because even if you deliver the club at exactly the same speed as the person next to you, the way you deliver it might produce a different ball flight. So you're going to need things about your club which is different to the person next to you, even though they're the same speed.
Yeah, definitely.
Nice.
Absolutely loves every single minute of that. We just laugh and saying all the things that you know like the back of your hand, but it's so interesting because you learn from every single shot. Can you give me a little summary on yardage wise, how far I was hitting, maybe like my little 7-iron, because then I can take that away, and obviously you're going to give me all those figures. I'm going to go and compare that to last year's. There may be some change, there may be, hopefully, I'm hitting a little bit further. And then what I'll do, even for me, I might just write that down on a little notepad, take it out with me every so often, and then you just get used to that then eventually, don't you?
You've got your 7-iron carry at 144?
7-iron 144?
Yeah, does that sound about right?
Wow, that's interesting. And I was hoping it was going to be that, because it was, no word of a lie, last year I was carrying my 7-iron like 118.
Okay, good.
So it's been like, okay, if you can't hit your 7-iron for me past that 130, I need to hit that further. So that's amazing. Thank you so much. I mean, that for anyone is probably like, yeah, I can do that on my pitching wedge. But so 144 for 7-iron, super interesting. Can you tell me a little bit about obviously people wanting to do this themselves, what are they looking for with the numbers? And it's quite a lot to take in, so what can they break down? What are they looking for? Yeah,
I mean, certainly when you're looking at distances, it's about making sure you've got correct gapping between the clubs. So you don't have too many clubs, or you don't have too big a gaps that when you get into that position, you know what you're going to hit. So doing this, as we said, maybe every couple of months, just to make sure you know exactly how far they're going, because that's going to change from person to person. So if you know your numbers, you can then play better golf. Okay,
and then as we said, it depends on what work you're doing for your own game. That's dependent on how often you check it out. But basically, if someone's going to go down to the range and go, right, I'm doing this myself, it'd be cool for them to follow the process we've just done. So 3 or an average ball per club, go through, work through the bag, take the time, because as we were saying, it can be fatigue sets in. And then looking at like distance. So is the numbers on there, like the ball speed and things like that, did they affect obviously the total distance in the end and the carry?
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, that's always the thing with any distance. How much ball speed you can generate via club speed is then going to dictate how far you can hit that ball, and it's going to change with things like the length of the club, the loft of the club is then going to start taking the ball flight into consideration as well.
Yeah, brilliant. So looking at mainly ball speed, club speed, and then your carry distance.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much. I've had the best time. It's just been so interesting. I can't wait to go down, compare them to last year's results, study them, take them away, and hopefully in a few months' time I can be hitting that 150 carry. What do you think with my 7.9?
Sounds like a plan.
Sounds like a plan. So obviously, how can people actually do it? How do they access this facility that we've just been through? So
the easiest thing to do is download the Trackman Golf app, which is available just on the App Store. Go onto the Locator app, and then you can find your nearest driving range or indoor facility. Head down there, scan in with the QR code, and away you go. And they don't really need anything else apart from what's being provided for them? Yep, exactly. Yeah. You might have screens at some of the more permanent ranges. You might have iPads that are available, or just your phone. You can get all the data on there. Wow, and somewhere like we are today at Trump is just fantastic. The grass range, it's all provided for you, and a nice little pyramid of golf balls there as well for you. We do it well in the Middle East. We do. So thank you so much again for today, Tom. It's been an eye-opener. No problem. Every minute of it. Thank you so much again to Trump International Dubai. You have been fantastic for letting me to use your range facilities. It's been amazing. Like, comment, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next video.